Hi, welcome back to Box Delights and welcome to our demonstration of the Old King's Crown solo. We're in round one and we're up here at the spring phase. It's time to place our bids. We're bidding for these cards here, these kingdom cards at the Great Road. One of them has caught my eye and I've got a clue as to which one the Sim's going to take as well. I kind of like the idea of royal pardons, but let's have a look and see what the Sim's interested in. Just like any good human player, the Sim is going to give away hints as to what they're going to do. When designing solo for Old King's Crown, it was important that everything just didn't feel random, that we had some clues, that we could get a read on our opponent. Their ambition says, what is it they're trying to do? What is it they're trying to look for? What are their priorities? And see this book icon here. This says, the back of this card, this is the card they're going to play. This tells me that they're going to give priority to this suit, the suit with the book. Okay, and also they want to give priority to the Highlands. Okay, so I have a clue as to what they're going to do. So always use this card. It's important to look at the back of these cards. So, at the Great Road, each of these cards has a suit. The Engineer's Workshop has these crossed swords. Propaganda Advisor has the book icon. Okay, it's right here. The one I'm interested in, Forged Royal Pardons, has a stack of coins. And then Mysterious Benefactor also has a stack of coins. So I know that they are targeting Propaganda Advisor. That's fine by me. So I'm probably going to bid low. If they take this, I'm free to take Forged Royal Pardons. Okay, bidding low is what I'm thinking about. Because we're going to bid with one of the cards from our hand now. And for me that's important because whichever card I tie up as a bid to occupy one of these kingdom cards, to take one of these kingdom cards, I won't be able to use that for the rest of the round and potentially for the rest of the game. However, if I bid too low and it's a card that I really want to keep, the Sim could steal it from me on a later turn. So I'm looking at my cards here. Possibly Seabreakers is a bit of a 4. But the thing is, Forged Royal Pardons, I don't want them to steal it. If I go higher, then the odds of them stealing it are reduced. So I'm thinking maybe a 4 or a 7 here. Which one shall I go with? Shall I go the 4 or shall I go the 7? Do you know what? I really like this card. I might go with the 7. I like the artwork on Seabreakers. Look at her shield. Isn't it fantastic? Look at the detail. Wonderful. All right. The Branded Seer. That's what I'm going to bid. I'm going to bid 7. Okay. Right. There's my bidding card. The Sim is going to bid with the top token of their bidding deck. In fact, I can place the little stack of coins up here by the Great Road. This strength of this card, cards are important to me because throughout this game we're going to be bidding to win in each of these 3 regions, and we're going to need high strength cards to win those bids, right? Like a trick, like win a trick, like a card taking trick. We need high cards to win tricks, to get rewards, which is mostly influence, but also secondary effects, and influence is our route to victory, right? So that's why high cards are important to us. But high cards can win us and keep us holding on to kingdom cards as well. All right, we've placed our bids, then we simultaneously resolve them. All we're looking at are the numbers here. Okay, flip them over. Okay, so they bid 5. We do end up getting first dibs, and it doesn't actually matter. We're going to take the Forged Royal Pardons, and we occupy this, and we place it on our player board. Kingdom cards are the way that you can really change up the way the game plays, because each one of these cards is going to change the rules. Right, so we placed it, we've got room for 2 kingdom cards. We occupy it with our card. What that means is it's now defended by a strength 7 card. That's it. Okay, that's what that means. For someone to steal this, they're going to need higher than a 7. Okay. Now, if you look, what does Forged Royal Pardons does? It gives me a new spring action. Do you see this spring icon in a little circle? That's an action that lets me perform this effect. Okay, so when we get to spring, we'll look at how we perform spring actions. Wonderful. Now the sim can resolve their bid. Remember, they bid a 5. First step, though, we turn over the top card of their ambition deck. We saw it was revealing the book icon. There it is. And it also has a right arrow. So if there were more than one kingdom card with this suit, it would choose the rightmost one. But the important thing is we can now see their ambitions for the rest of this round. So we knew their priority was Highlands, but we didn't know after that where they were going to go. Okay, and it says Plateau and then Lowlands. There's 3 regions: Highlands, Plateau, Lowlands. Okay, this central area through this window, okay, this big wooden framed window which makes up the board, we can see the kingdom beyond and the 3 regions: Highlands, Plateau, and Lowlands. And it's those 3 regions that we're going to be battling over or having clashes over. As it goes, they're going to occupy the only book card we saw, Propaganda Advisor, with their 5. As you see how they use their tokens, they're bidding tokens rather than cards. However, they do occupy them in the same way. So they place their kingdom card, they choose whether to put it in the left or the right spot. Here they're going to go in the right spot, they're going to put on their number 5 on it, they're defending it with the number 5 or occupying it with the number 5. Okay. The sim ignores all the text on these cards. Right? They're not affected by kingdom cards that they hold. They never try to perform these effects. Instead, they get a little bonus, and that little bonus reflects the fact that they're not using these effects. So they get compensation, and the compensation they get is based on the suit of that kingdom card. There's a reference guide from it, so you don't have to remember it, but it's right at the top here. If they see a book, then the sim places 1 influence from the reserve. Influence is your points, remember, on a council that matches its current ambition. Okay, so their current ambition is the highest priority suit, books, and then gains 1 law. Law is the currency we use to buy new cards. So they gained a law, which I'm going to place next to their site of power as it goes. If the sim ever has 3 law here, they'll gain the top card of their site of power. Okay, so all of their site of power cards have a cost of 3 law. That can be modified by the forge, but 3 is the default. Okay, 3 law. And what it say? Place a coin in a council. Now I've put the councils here. Typically they'd be at the top of the board, but for the sake of space, I've put it here. But what it says is they're going to place an influence token. So the sim is placing an influence in the Council of Secrets. Councils are a way to extend your influence over the kingdom outside of winning clashes. The sim is, like a player, is going to resolve the Council of Secrets during autumn, so we'll come back to that then. But basically, typically you'll put cards. So if you look at my cards, in the bottom left you see hammers. So Nixing Knife has 2 hammers. Seabreakers has none. Shorerunner Sleds has 1. My Heir, the Saga, the Unifier, has 1. These are votes that you can place in councils. A vote in the council, which is what the sim's just done. The sim never puts cards in councils, so again, a way that the sim breaks the rules. They don't like expending their cards in councils. Council of Relics. For every vote you have here, it gives you bonus influence in the Council of Relics. In the Council of Secrets, it allows you to place your faction tokens out on the board. And if you've got 4 or more in a particular location, you can take that location's reward without winning a clash there. And then Council of Oaths is a way to regain supporters. And we'll look at supporters. They're going to be important to the clans, gaining supporters. Supporters are a way to add strength to your bids in these clashes at each region. So there we go. That's the compensation that they get. So they got 1 law and 1 vote in the Council of Secrets as compensation for their propaganda advisor and not being able to use it for the rest of the game. Now I can steal it. Okay, so in a subsequent round, if I remember, I said I'm protecting my Forged Royal Pardons with a strength 7 card, on a subsequent round, if I bid higher than a 5, I could steal the Propaganda Advisor if I think that will work in my favour and help me win the game. Now, when I bid at the Great Road, I don't have to take a Kingdom card. I can take one of the 4, I can steal, or if I wanted that 7, if I didn't want to tie it up on a Kingdom card, maybe I've got enough Kingdom cards already, or I just want to keep my 7, I could, as the third option, instead of using it to steal or to take a Kingdom card, I can just take it back to my hand and forego taking a Kingdom card. Right, so that is an option if you want to keep your hand strong, and that's particularly important if you've been suffering attrition and your hand size is relatively small. Okay, that's resolving bids complete. We've removed the rightmost Kingdom card. That goes off to a discard pile, and then these shuffle down, and then we repopulate. So what do we get? We get Shapeshifter's Mirror. We get the Old King's Lantern, and lastly, the Grand Tourney. Oh wow, okay. Each one of these cards is unique, not just in its ability, but in its artwork as well. Pablo spent a lot of effort putting this game together. Okay, next step. So it's nice and easy. We follow the ribbon. Okay, so we've finished at the Great Road. The next step says, in turn order, place heralds, and then simultaneously place cards. So in turn order, place heralds. Turn order is Sim first, and then me. So Sim has to place its herald next. Now we know where the Sim's going because it told us. It's going in the highlands, and it's going to the right of the highlands. So 3 regions, highlands, plateau, lowlands. Take its herald, and it's going to the right. So there's a left location and a right location in each of the 3 regions. So in the highlands, the left location is the castle and the right is the wilderness. So they're going to place their herald in the wilderness. Herald location is important. You can use this to kind of strengthen your position, or you can use it as a bluff. If you win and claim the reward of a location where your herald is, you get a bonus point. Okay, every location in each of these 3 regions, there's 2 locations. Each location will give you a reward of 1 influence. Remember, influence is your points. The exception is the battlefield, which gives you 2. It's the only place that does. But as well as your 1 influence, your 1 point, if you win a clash and claim the reward where your herald is, you get a bonus influence. But not just that, there's some jeopardy here, because if you win where somebody else's herald is, you get to steal an influence from them as well. So that gives you a net 2 influence gain, and in a multiplayer game that could be many. Okay, so herald location is really important. And I get to choose now where I wish to go. Well, I know he's prioritising the highlands. I think I'm going to prioritise the harvest field. So I'm going to go here with my herald. That's where I'm keen to win. Winning in the harvest field gains me the kingdom's favour, and the kingdom's favour unlocks one of your faction-specific special abilities, which for the clans is Prophet of the Waves. So I've got this special ability. Every faction has a different one. But to unlock this, you need to win the kingdom's favour and place this token here. Winning the kingdom's favour means winning in the plateau. Next step is to place cards, and doing this in turn order. So Sim's going to go first. This is the bulk of the game. This is the crux of the game. We're going to be placing 1 card in each of these 3 regions. And with that card, we're going to be trying to win a clash. Right? Highest strength wins. Nice and simple. There's lots of little ways to interact with those though. So the high strength doesn't always win, and you'll see that as we play. So Sim does this by drawing 3 cards, top 3 cards of their deck, and they're going to put those in order. And we look at the back of the cards to give you a clue about which is their best card. Okay. Now, if 2 of them happen to be the same, its first card they draw goes first, but they go in priority order. So gold gets priority, then silver, then bronze. And they're going to highlands, plateau, and then lowlands. So I know their priorities. They've given me a clue. But I don't know what's on the face of these cards. I've got an idea, but I don't know for sure. Okay. Now, when I originally designed these, I kind of made them marry the player faction decks, you know, with the same kind of numbers. But, and I think, and Pablo made this change. Pablo worked on the solo with me. Pablo simplified these a little bit. So actually and I think that's a good decision because it makes it easier for you to remember what cards the sim has played. You don't have to remember, you know, the numbers from 1 to 12 and 0 to 12. Instead, we just need to remember 10, 8, 5, 3, and 1. Okay, so not much. But a gold card is either going to be their 10, their heir, okay, like our heir, a 5 with deadly, or a 3. A 3 will be their ruse, and if that comes up, we'll see it. If silver card is going to be a 5 or an 8, and one of those 5s might be deadly. If it's bronze, it's a 5, 3, or a 1. Most likely a 3, and the 1 again can be a ruse. So a gold could be a ruse, a 1 could be a ruse. That's a bluff. So it's telling us it's playing a low card, but it's pretending, and it's a ruse, and it's actually a ruse down here. Likewise, a gold, one of them is a ruse. It's kind of a misleading card, and they'll end up replacing it with another card. And at the moment, the top card of their deck is another gold. So if they have played a ruse, there's a potential for another gold card to take its place. So up in the Highlands is where they're at. I mean, there's a chance that they've played an 8 or a 5 in the middle. That's the region I'm focused on because that's where my herald is. That's where I really want to win. I mean, if I can steal the Highlands, even better. But I'm tempted to play my heir because I've got to pick 3 cards now. It's always 3 in each of those regions. I do have my Shore Runner Sleds, which is a flanking card, which is useful, very useful. And I do have my Nixing Knife, which is my Deadly Assassin. Everyone has a Deadly Assassin, though you can get more when you upgrade your decks. If I'm worried about an assassin, if you play a card with shields, they actually knock out the assassin. So I could potentially play my Snowdrop Scouts up here, or I could, if I'm that worried, I could potentially play my Sea Breakers here instead of my heir. If I think they might play their assassin here, I could do this and then place my flanking card here. So the 5 would join the 4 and create a 9, which is going to be an 8, which is the other silver card. But then I'm automatically giving up the bottom region. But I kind of like this, and then I can actually save my heir. And my 5 for next, and my assassin, yeah, for next time. So I'm tempted by this. Now in multiplayer, you would actually place your cards face down. But when you're playing solo, you can leave them face up if you want. But I kind of like putting them face down, and we'll reveal them as we resolve each clash one by one. Now, it doesn't matter whether you place them on the left or the right. These spots are just vacant spots for anyone to place their cards. Right? There's no significance to whether they're left or the right side of the window. So that's cards placed. I'm feeling pretty smug. I think I've got some good cards. Let's see what happens next. Now, in turn order, we're in the spring action step. You see this icon? This is the spring icon. In a circle is an action. It's a spring action. Typically, we're looking at our player boards, our player areas for stuff that happens during spring. But you'll notice, so Sim has got the active player, then in turn order, they go first. They've got a spring icon here next to their 3 supporters. This is when they do their scheming. Okay, we've got a little hint already. We knew that they were looking at the Highlands and they were doubling down on the Highlands. Okay, really going for it up the top there. This is telling me where they're going to place their supporters and where they're going to place their fog. Fog is their tactics. We know what their tactics are. It's defined by their principal threat. What this says is in a region with fog, if the sim lost, it places an influence in the council matching its ambition. So with this Siren Songs and the way they chose Propaganda Advisor, played this card here with the books, they're really doubling down on councils. Okay, so Highlands, councils, castles. This stuff is really working well for the sim. If they win, so that's if they lose. If they win in a clash, then they gain influence what's equal to whatever's in that council. Okay, so they're deploying influence or votes into court and then using those votes in the court. That's what Siren Song's doing for the sim. It'll become clear when we play it out. But they're scheming about the Highlands. They can change their mind, okay, or tell little fibs. So there's a chance, and it's a 1 in 3. I'll give you a clue. There's a 1 in 3 chance that what they say they're going to do isn't what they end up doing. Okay, they may change their mind, which kind of reflects the fact that they've changed their mind, or they're reacting to what we're doing. So they could switch it up and go for the plateau. But let's see. And they did fib. All right, so Highlands, I was expecting Highlands to be at the top, but no, they're going for the plateau, and they're going to place all their supporters. Do you see this icon? Sometimes they spread them out. Most of the 2/3 of the time, they would have placed their supporters in the Highlands, but no, they're going to fight me for the plateau. Yeah, there was a chance that would happen. So 3 of their supporters, all their supporters, are going to the plateau. And that's their spring action. Now that bothers me because I was thinking about using my supporters there. Remember, I put my 4 here. So if they go 5, that now becomes an 8. If they've got 8, that now becomes an 11. And 11 is going to beat my 9. If I flank with my 5 and get a 9, and they've got 11, I'm going to need at least 2 supporters in there to go 12. Okay. The other thing they'll do is placing their fog. So I already told you they're placing 3 fog, and they're going to go the 1 in each region. Yeah, so 1 in the plateau, 1 in the Highlands, 1 in the Lowlands. So it's just the top 3 cards of their fog deck. 1 in each region. Plateau, Highlands, and Lowlands. Right, back to me. Now I have a spring action here. This is moving cards back from my discard pile, but I don't have any cards in my discard pile yet. I have School of Storms I can use, and I can also, as a spring action, place any number of supporters. Now, I might put 3. Well, you have to be a bit frugal with your supporters because once they're spent, they're spent. They go to the lost pile. There are ways to get them back. Notably, for the clans, they have New Haven's Harbour. If we get this, it costs 2 law, move up to 2 of your supporters from the lost pile to a region. So you can pull them back and use them from lost. Okay. The important thing here is that supporters are going in a region, just like your card. Okay. So currently I have strength 4 plus 3, strength 7. I think you can have 11. Yeah, it's hard to. Okay, you're playing the odds a little bit, and obviously I've got some insight. And you will too. Once you've played some and you get to learn the cards, you'll have some insight too. I don't think it's time for School of Storms just yet. It's kind of nice to play it once you've got New Haven's Harbour up and running. So I think I'll hold back. Remember, tactics are also one-time use. Okay. Though again, there's always ways to bend rules in this game. So there's a Kingdom card, for example, that lets you turn these back over and use them again. I think that's it for spring actions. I don't think there's anywhere else I want to place supporters. I think I'm happy with the way things are looking. We'll save these for an upcoming round. That spring action step completed. Now we move to summer. The player last on the order track places clash markers. That's me, right? I'm last, I'm going second. So I get to place these. These determine the order in which these clashes are resolved. Now remember, I placed my flanking card, the Shore Runner sleds, down the bottom here. A flanking card is a card that you can move. Once this clash is resolved, or while it's being resolved, in fact, in the day action step, you can move this card to another region. So it's good to resolve this first, because it can only move to an unresolved region. If I resolve this last, it's got nowhere to go. So I'm going to resolve that one first. Then I think I'd like to see if I win this, and then if I do, there's a potential for this to flank up here. So I'm going to do them from bottom to top. Right, that's the plan. Right, 1, 2, 3. Lowlands first. Okay. Next step, resolve clashes. And we're going to do this 3 times, once for each region. Okay. So first step is reveal cards in the region. Then in turn order, we do day actions. These are these sun icons. Then night actions simultaneously. These are mandatory. You see the different shaped icon? It's kind of this diamond shape. Night effects resolve simultaneously. Then we tally the strength and declare the outcome of the clash. The winner of the clash claims its rewards. Okay, so we're going to do this in the bottom region first. Okay, turn over the token to say that we've resolved it, and we'll resolve these cards. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Flip. Oh, it's a 5 and a 5. So reveal. Now we do day action step in turn order. They don't have any day actions here. Now it's to us. But we have an opportunity to flank if we wish. If we don't, this is a tie. I should also be mindful of armatures here, because it says in the autumn, if this is the only card active in the region. So if I did flank away and give up this region for the sim, they would activate this effect because they're the only card left active in this region. So that's interesting. So there's another reason for me to stay here. But now I don't know. Do I want to win here, or do I want to mitigate that potentially being an 8? I think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to flank. So I'm going to move up here. We're going to let them win. I think that's okay. I think that's okay because, yeah, I really want to win up here. We are giving him a few more points. But what can you do? What can you do? There's no night actions. We don't have any night actions. All our day actions are done. So flanking away was a day action. Okay. Night effect step, nothing happens. Tally strength, they've got 5, I've got nothing. So winner claims reward. Now for the sim, they don't claim regions like we do. Instead, they have a sim location specific rewards. Okay. So which they choose, the shrine or the necropolis, look to their ambition card. They choose the rightmost reward. So they're looking at wilderness, battlefield, necropolis. We know this from their card. So for the necropolis, they gain an influence. So they're going to take 1 point. Then the sim discards the top 3 cards of his deck, stopping if there are no cards left in it. Then they shuffle their discard pile and move all gold cards in its discard pile back to the top of the deck. So the necropolis is a way for it to kind of push gold cards to the top of its deck. Okay, so let's do that. So discard the top 3 cards of their deck. Okay, this is my hand. Let's put those up there out of the way. Okay, so sculptures, poppets, and muse. Now as it goes, we don't need to worry about shuffling. There's only 1 gold card. We know what it was. It's the muse. So muse is going to the top of the deck. Okay. So the idea of that shuffle is really just to shuffle up the gold cards that's potentially there. There could have been more gold cards there already. All right. Okay, so we know there's a 10 on the top here. And then we can resolve siren songs. So they won in the region. It gains influence equal to the influence on the council that matches its current ambition, which is Highlands, which I put there earlier. So it's doubling down. It's getting that 1 influence. There's the 1. Okay, so it's got 2 influence out of this, which is a good start for the sim in a region it didn't care that much about. Okay, ready for the next clash? Now we've seen 2 silver cards. We've seen a 5 and an 8. So his assassin's not there. So I didn't need this follower, the one with the shield that protects us from assassins. But let's see what it is. It could still be a 5 and an 8. So they've got 2 5s and 2 8s. That's what's there. Let's see what it is. So we've got our 5. That's going to go with our 4. So we've got 9. 10, 11, 12. We're all good. We've got 9 plus 3. We're on 12. So, is there 5? So I could have put an extra couple of supporters in. I could have put all 5 down there. But then if the 8 had come out, I'd have been messed up. So, yeah, I mean, you can play the sim a little bit more deterministically. And when you're playing with other players in a multiplayer game, right, you might feel that the first round is completely random, but you've got 2 things to go on. One, how other people behave, unless they've got a really good poker face. And then as the game progresses, you get more and more information about what people have got left in their deck. So if you think this is random, it's only... In the multiplayer game, I guess it's random in the first round, but as the game goes on, you gain more information, you gain more knowledge about what cards people are holding. So it gets less random in that sense. But you can play mind games with people, and the sim can play mind games with you too. But it played both its 5s, both its armatures. Right, we're going to leave these cards here. Now there is a question. If I'd have been smart, I would have put another couple of supporters in here, because with a 4 and 2 more supporters, I could have actually flanked again. Yeah, I didn't think that through. If I'd have put my other 2 supporters here, I'd have had 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 versus 8. I would have still won. And I could have flanked away again. Oh yeah, that would have been a really smart play, Ricky. As it goes, I've got to leave my card here to guarantee the win. All right, well, that's what we're doing. Just wondering also, I might have been able to do it with 1 card. Yeah, because I got 3 uses of this Sea Lanes. Sea Lanes works with these 3 archetypes. Your air, this kind of grail icon or cup, this is your captain, and then war machines. Okay, so air, captain, war machine. These 2 are war machines, these icons here. And we have these cards here. So this is our air, this is our agent. I keep saying assassin, but it's agent. Okay, that's the right term. So no, then Sea Lanes doesn't help us. We've got a follower and a cavalry. So no, we're as we are. So we are victorious. Now we can choose which reward we want. We can choose the harvest field or the battlefield. Well, my heir is in the harvest field, so that's the one I want. So I'm going to gain 1 influence from the harvest field. I get a bonus because my herald's here. We could potentially kick in Council of Relics. I don't have anyone in the council right now, but that's when that would apply. And then we gain the kingdom's favour, so I'm taking this. Nice. So that's even things up. We're on 2 influence each, but I have Prophet of the Waves now activated, which I can use in this upcoming clash. The Prophet of the Waves allows me to move the herald to a location in the current region and 2 supporters from other regions. So again, for the clans, this becomes important when you're resolving the order of clashes. Which order you resolve them in. Look at your daytime effects. They can make a big difference. There's a lot of depth to this game. Okay, Siren Songs kicks in because it's got fog. Remember, they put fog in every region. So if the sim lost, it places 1 influence in the council that matches its current ambition. So they lost, but they get another influence in the Council of Secrets. Okay, final clash. We're going to resolve the Highlands. Now we only had a 1 here. I should have put an extra supporter in there. That would have changed the outcome, because then I could have flanked away, and now I'd have 6. Though 6 would beat, yeah. So I would be beating his 5 and his 3, but not his 10. So this could be his heir. It could be the 10. If it's his agent, we've got a shield. If it's a 3, we've lost. But which is it? It's their agent. Wow. This has worked out nicely. The day actions, they don't actually have any. So as a day action, I think I might actually use Prophet of the Waves. So move your herald. So I tick this down once. Move my herald to a location in the current region. And I can move it to supporters if I wish as well. Well, I'm going to move my herald up here. I don't want to move any supporters. Yeah, if I was using School of Storms, this might be a good time because I would move supporters in. That would outnumber their supporters and then win, and then School of Storms would kick in as well. So yeah, clans can really combo up here. That's day action. Night actions effects. Okay, Deadly is a night action effect. So Deadly kicks in and would eliminate all of the cards in the clash. But we have this shield. The shield means we're invulnerable. Invulnerable means we are not affected by Deadly. We're immune to these Deadly eliminate effects. So Deadly doesn't affect us. And not just that, Poppet has this secondary effect. It says, as a knight, if there's any active opponent followers in the clash, okay, Snowdrop Scouts is a follower. It's got the follower icon. Eliminate this card. So Poppet is eliminated. Eliminated means it goes to the lost pile. So I'm going to stick it down here in the lost pile. Beautiful. And that means we've won this clash. R1 is victorious. Snowdrop Scouts have won. So we can claim Castle or Wilderness. Well, I'm going to claim Wilderness here where my herald is. So I gain 1 influence. I gain a bonus 1 for having my herald here. And I get to steal 1 because they've got their herald here. And not just that, I can journey with 1 card that is either active or in our hand. So I get 2 more influence here. I get to steal 1 from the sim. So we're currently 5-1 up. Nice, this has worked out really well. And we get to journey. Now, journey means we're looking for these scroll icons. So I've got 2 cards in my hand. I could journey with my Nixing Knife or with my Saga, the Unifier, the Air. But these are also active cards. So I could journey with my Snowdrop Scouts. I could journey with Sea Breakers, or I could journey with Shore Runner Sleds. They've all got a scroll on them. I'm going to journey with my Snowdrop Scouts. So what does journey mean? Journey means you send this card to the lost pile and you take 1 lore in its place. Now actually, what I could do, I just realised I've got a Pathfinder card here. My Shore Runner Sleds, I can journey with them if I wish. They have this icon here. This is the Pathfinder icon. And what that means is if you journey with them, instead of going to the lost pile, they just go to your discard pile instead. Now they're going to get discarded at the end of this round anyway, so I might as well do that. So let's journey with our Shore Runner Sleds. Yeah, much better. Okay, we're journeying for 1 lore. This goes to my discard. I take 1 lore token. And this is now a currency that I can spend. Now I'd like to get this card here, the New Haven's Harbour. It costs 2 lore, so look out for that. I might be able to do it this time. But there's nothing that costs just 1 lore. So this one's 2, this one's 2, 2, 3, and 5. Yeah, so we need at least 2 lore to buy a card. Okay, that's the last clash resolved. It has a fog, and it says, remember, if the sim loses, it places an influence in that council. So they're getting a 3rd influence in the Council of Secrets. They've really piled it in there. That's the end of summer. Now we move down to autumn. Okay, autumn says, in turn order. So starting with the sim, perform the following in any sequence: govern, journey, and activate autumn actions. Now the sim will do this in a certain order. They'll do autumn actions first. They don't have any down here, but they do have some here on their Armatures cards. It doesn't matter which order we resolve these in, but this says if it's the only card active in the region. Well, it's not here. We've got 2 active cards, but this one is. It's the only active card here. Move it to the region matching the sim's current ambition, which we know is the Highlands. Okay, and place an influence token on it. The influence token basically means it survives another round. Okay, so I'm going to place that up here. We'll place an influence token on it. In fact, I'm going to place that over to the right side just to make it clearer what's happening. So this card has been saved, effectively. Then Sim chooses to govern. They'll take an influence. Remember, governing is placing influence in councils. So again, they're going to use their ambition card. They're going into Council of Secrets again. And it's at this point they resolve the Council of Secrets. Now there's a player aid here that walks you through it, but I'm going to walk you through it here on the video. First, they count the number of influence they have here, which is 4, and they take a number of Sim faction tokens equal to that. So 4 Sim faction tokens. Remember, Council of Secrets is trying to place markers out on the map to trigger those effects. Where does it place them? It places them where its herald is, which, if you remember, is up in the highlands in the wilderness. So it really wants the wilderness. It still wants it. Now it looks on the map. Does it have 4 of its faction tokens in any of these locations? Well, yes, it does. It just placed 4. So it removes 4s and then triggers the reward for the wilderness. Okay. So having 4 influence in the Council of Secrets is working wonders for the Sim. I've got to keep an eye on that. For now, though, it's claiming the wilderness reward, which is it gains 1 influence and 2 law. Okay. 1 influence is back up to 2 and 2 law. Gaining 2 law means it's now got 3 law there. If there's ever 3 law here, immediately remove 3 law. It spends them straight away. This is the same as with a player. You can only spend law at the moment you gain it. Right? So when I gained that 1 law earlier, I could have spent it straight away, but I didn't have anything that cost that less. Right, it gains the top card, and this goes on its deck straight away. So there was a 10. Now there's something else. I don't know what that is, but there's 2 good gold cards on the top of its deck now. Right. Lastly, as its autumn action, it's going to journey. So it does is autumn, govern, then journey. And when it journeys, it just simply gains 1 law. Okay, so it's building up again, ready for its next site of power card. Right, that's the Sim done. Now it's us. So I can do these, govern, journey, and do autumn actions just like the Sim did. Except I've got to use my cards to govern and journey, and they have to be cards from our hand. Now here's the thing. I've got my agent and my heir. I can govern and I can journey with each of them, but these are good cards. So you've kind of got to think ahead a little bit. I do have some autumn actions down here. I've got river runners. Move an opponent's occupied kingdom card to our board and occupy it with a card from my hand. So I could take propaganda advisors. I don't think I do. Assault toughness. Choose any number of your faction cards that are active or in your discard pile and move them to your hand. So this one I might well do, because then I could govern and journey with those cards. So yeah, let's use salt toughness. So I can use, I could take this one, which I'm going to do. And I can also take either of these. If I don't take them, they're going to go back to my discard pile. So do I want to put them in my hand? I think I'm going to leave Snowdrop Scouts. We'll let that one go to our discard pile. I'm just wondering, I mean, I can stave off attrition by bringing Snowdrop Scouts back. What do you think? Should I? Or should I let the one go? Because it's a lowly 1. Up to my hand size. My hand size is well, I'm going to use 2 of them. Yeah, do you know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna take them all back. All right. Yes. Now, obviously, if I'd have done this, if the turn order was the other way around, Armatures, pulling these cards back would have meant Armatures would have kicked in again for this card as well. But as it is, turn order has made it safe for us to do this. So now I can govern and journey with 1 card. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to journey with this card, Shore Runner Sleds, and it's because it's got Pathfinder, it's not going to get lost. It's going to go to my discard. I've journeyed with this once before, so this card served me really well on this turn. I'm gaining a law, and when you gain law, you can spend it, and only at that point. So I can't take this and then decide to spend it, another part of my turn. It's either now or never, and I have to wait till I gain law again. But I'm going to spend it, and I'm going to buy, from my site of power, I'm going to buy New Haven's Harbour. This is coming in to my player area. Now, all my cards without resilience gain resilience. Resilience says if they're eliminated, instead of going to the lost pile, they go to discard. Right, so I save my cards. But also as a spring action, I can move 2 of my supporters into from the lost pile into a region. So yeah, I'm happy with this. And now I can't govern. Well, I could govern with my nixing knife, and I might actually do that. Well, there's an option here, you see. No, I'm gonna stick to my plan. I was just thinking I could have journeyed with these, sent them to Lost Pile, and then I could have governed with the Shorerunner sleds because they have a vote they can put in council. But no, I'm gonna keep hold of those. I'm gonna keep hold of this. I'm gonna journey with my nixing knife because it's got 2 votes. And 2 votes in a council is going to be great. So I'm going to put this in the Council of Oaths. So this is governing, putting a card with votes into a council. And what's interesting now, I'm going to pick this up, is these are autumn actions. And remember, I can do any number of autumn actions however I wish. So for each vote I have here, I can move a supporter from the map to your all lost pile to my player board. And if I have the most votes here, I can move an additional supporter. So that means 3 supporters. So as an autumn action now, I'm going to move these 3 back to my player board. All right, job done. 1, 2, 3, so I've got all my supporters back. Okay, I think we're done. I think that's all of our autumn actions. Winter. Simultaneously, any winter effects. So look out for this winter icon. We don't have any, actually, as it goes up here. And we clean up, and then we advance the round track. So our heralds come back. Sim gets their herald back as well. These pieces go back, so the clash markers go back ready for next time. Any supporters still on the map would go to the lost pile, but I've rescued mine. Any active cards without influence on them get discarded. I've managed to rescue all my active cards as well. And then any active cards with influence just remove 1 influence back to the supply. For the sim, it always gets 3 supporters back. Any additional ones, because yes, there might be effects that put additional sim supporters out there. They come back, so 3 back to their board. We take our principal threat and any fog. We shuffle these together. So these 4 fog cards. I may get the same principal threat out again. We didn't see 3 of them. We don't know what they were. But these go back on the bottom of the fog deck. And then we cycle the ambition and scheme cards ready for the next turn. So cleanup's nice and quick. Sim's on 2. We're currently on 5. And there are some 5 influence tokens that you can use instead of the individual ones if you wish. Then we advance the round tracker. We're into round 2. And join me next time then as we continue with the start of another year.